Thanks for checking out this horror film review from the BananaLaser Horror Podcast. You can find our full archive of every unedited show at horrorphilia.com. Also, subscribe to BananaLaser on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. It says YouTube. Well, click subscribe. Thanks, and keep on banana-ing. This is it. We're starting our Halloween retrospective with Halloween, 1978 classic from John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance, and blah, 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 blah. You've heard it all before. What the fuck are we going to talk about, Dave? I mean, shit.
I don't know, man. We're going to have to fucking make it interesting, but
I think it's not really like trivia or anything we could talk about. All we can bring to this is our personal perspectives and stuff like that.
I got trivia. I'll tell you right now. I've been doing so much damn shit. I've been watching the documentaries and everything. I even found some things because I've listened to commentaries and everything else.
There's
some things I didn't realize before.
Really? Before you set out to record this right now, you've learned stuff about a movie that you probably watched 30 times.
Absolutely, I have. Yeah, because I was investigating and, I'm trying to put on a decent show here. I'm, doing my part.
This guy is committed.
Hey, I'm going to be committed by the time we're done recording.
Probably. So, yeah, this, Halloween, it's a classic. I mean, I'll
say.
There's no hiding it from Dave and myself. Say what you will about the entire franchise, but this individual movie right here, it almost does not get any better than that. I mean, it's got its problems, it's got flaws, but what makes this movie is the style, the craft, and the filmmaking done by Carpenter, and the mood that he invokes, and it's great. Even though this movie clearly was not filmed during Halloween time, because all the trees have green leaves and stuff like that, and you can see palm trees in the background on at least one shot.
Well, that's it. That's the problem, is that they were in California and they were trying to make it look like fucking, Illinois.
Totally.
But even with that, he pulled it off because, I mean, I see that stuff now, because I've seen the movie so many times. Right. But back then, even on my 10th watch, I wasn't looking at the leaves, everything about it just screamed Halloween time. And I know it's the title of the movie, but even if it wasn't called Halloween, it just sets the mood perfectly.
What's so fucking amazing is what's so incredible about it, because the budget was shit. There wasn't much put into it. It was fucking 300 something, and half of the budget was used just on that fucking camera they used.
Yes. To do the opening with the POV shots, and it was I don't know what kind of camera, but you might know, but it was brand new, just invented, and they put it to great use. I mean, let's talk about this opening now.
Shit.
We could do a whole show on this opening scene. I think I probably have more notes on this scene alone than the entire rest of the movie, because of how effective it is.
Even before the scene, even when the fucking opening credits come out and the soundtrack hits.
Ah, yes. Oh, God. Yeah. How could I forget? Yeah.
Possibly, maybe definitely the best soundtrack ever for any horror movie, period. Mm-hmm. And it starts right off with the opening credits. I mean, boom, right away.
Yes.
And there's that fucking famous music. It's just...
It puts you right in the mood. That I mean, you just... Even if you watch this on June, you feel like a chill in the air, when you hear that music and you see the picture of the jack-o'-lantern, and the and the credits and stuff like that. It's just great.
Yeah, so basic and yet so perfect. Just that just goes to show you just what you can do on a small budget, and with the brilliance of Carpenter and that soundtrack, which is just it's just off the fucking hook. I don't think there is a better soundtrack to a horror movie.
It definitely works. It definitely sets the mood. Yeah, he did right with that. And yeah, you're right. I mean, they had no money, and I think that was to their benefit, definitely, because if they had more money, they wouldn't have tried so hard to create something, out of nothing. They would have just been like, nowadays when they got a ton of money, it's like, well, let's just, fix that in post, and stuff like that.
Right.
So,
Right.
he definitely had the drive of a young filmmaker to make a quality film, and fuck, I applaud him for that.
The cast was young, the crew was young. They say that the oldest people were fucking Carpenter and Deborah Hill, and they were like 30. Mm-hmm. Just think about being at a production like that, where it's fucking all teens and people in their 20s, and the elder statesmen are 30 years old.
Well, then you got
passionate.
Loomis and Brackett running around.
Yeah, fucking idiot that I am. I didn't mean the cast. You're right,
yeah,
of course.
I know.
Right. But you know what? Loomis was only there. Donald Pleasance was there for 5 days. Boom, boom, boom. They, because apparently he got a good chunk of change.
I'm sure. Yeah. He was the star, really. I mean, his name was the first. He was top billed. Jamie Lynn Curtis wasn't anybody yet.
True.
And
right.
he's been in some major Hollywood productions. He was definitely the get of this movie. But speaking of that, I know Carpenter wanted Christopher Lee, I believe, in this role.
Yeah, and Peter Cushing too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Both of them.
I just can't see it. I understand what he was going for, but after seeing the finished product and so many years removed, seeing one of those guys in that role, I just can't. Pleasance is Loomis. You know what I mean?
Pleasance is Loomis. Absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's just as iconic, in my opinion, as Michael himself for the series. I mean, he carried a lot of the later films. I mean, the ones that we're talking like fucking 4 and 5 and,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even 6, whatever. I mean, without him being there, some of them are barely watchable. He really carries the franchise later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Michael is Michael, whatever. There's only one, in my opinion, there's only been one really great Michael, and it's in this movie, but that, we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this movie is one of the big, well-known slashers, and it's been copied and everything a million times. But I mean, let's look at the setup for this. It has a villain, but it also has a protagonist that is featured in almost all the sequels. That the same guy that's trying to stop the villain, and in at least 3 or at least 2 of the sequels has the same heroine in it. And very rarely do any of these franchises ever do that. I can't even think of one off the top of my head that carries over so many characters to the next film. Generally, they start fresh because that's what you have to do with these kinds of movies. You just start over because they don't want to do exactly the same thing. But this franchise, they stuck to that formula of the first movie. It's crazy to me.
That's fucking... I never thought about that. I hear you.
Yeah. I mean, I can't think of any other franchise where it's like bringing Donald Pleasance Loomis character back, to chase after the villain again. Never, I don't think.
No. I mean, maybe in the older movies, like the Universal classics and things like that, maybe they had like Dracula and Van Helsing and shit like that going on. But... not the same actors. I don't think. Honestly, I don't know. Maybe even in the Hammer films with that shit. Yeah. Maybe. I can't say. You probably know more about those movies than I do. Sadly, I haven't gotten into them as much as I would have liked to.
Mm-hmm. But, no, I haven't either, but that makes sense. I was, I'm a friend of mine of I guess my lifetime of films and stuff like that.
Right, I hear you. Franchise, the shit we fucking come up with, the shit, 70s and up. Of course, I hear you. In that format, no. I mean, this really is the only one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's get fucking back to this opening scene. This fucking iconic fucking scene. Watching it this time, there's some things that really stuck out in my mind. One is that it opens up outside. The whole thing is POV. You know, it's 4 or 5 minutes, this scene. I can't actually recall. It starts out outside, and that immediately throws you off because you're not thinking that it's someone related to the girl or the guy or anything. It starts outside the house, and it looks like a home invasion kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it automatically sets you in the mindset of, okay, this is not somebody that they know at all. So when later the reveal comes, it hits you that much harder. I think you just didn't realize it before that how that worked. Whereas, you know, if you started inside the house, you would already be thinking, you know, something's up. It's like, oh, well, who is this person? It's obviously her dad or, you know, something like that.
Right, of course. A member of a family. Right.
I thought that was something very subtle, and it was very effective. The other thing I thought of was, we know Michael Myers. He's prone to wear masks, obviously. He doesn't want to be without masks. He likes to hide behind the mask. But he starts out this movie without his mask. Okay, he's in his Halloween costume. He's outside the house. We see his sister canoodling with her boyfriend or whatever.
Canoodle.
Yeah, they're doing some heavy petting, and the boyfriend jokingly picks up his clown mask and puts it on, you know, and whatever, and then they run upstairs, and he eventually gets the mask upstairs, and I didn't catch it until this viewing. And it astonished me. Maybe it's because it's his first kill, but he's predisposed to wear masks. He loves them, and yet he's in his Halloween outfit, and he took the mask off and left it. Maybe that was his motivation to, I don't know, go up there and get the mask and then eventually kill her. I don't know. But I just thought that was something that stuck out to me this time.
Yeah, you really fucking caught me off guard with that.
Don't worry. I'm not going to get this heavy-handed with the rest of it.
No, it's cool. I like to hear something new about the movie I've seen a fucking million times.
Yeah.
You know, and I can't remember the first time I see it, so it's hard for me to go back. And even I bet the first time I did see it, I probably already knew of Michael Myers. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I went to the theater in 1978, because of course that didn't happen. But fuck, just that's great how what you said about them being on the POV, which is just fucking incredible. That's straight out of fucking the book of Hitchcock, you know, in Argento for that matter. Those are that's who excelled in that shit. And Carpenter, you know, that was done intentionally. I mean, yeah, there's POV. He didn't invent the POV, but as one shot, that's fucking what's incredible about it. Yes. You know what I mean? Not everyone did that. You know,
no,
Hitchcock, Argento, and Carpenter here. I mean,
Carpenter definitely uses the crane shots effectively, the long takes, and dollies. I mean, the way he moves the camera down the streets and stuff like that, and it's so methodical, and it's all about the mood of the film, and it's great.
Something else about the mask, and I'll get to it later. I don't think Michael can kill without the mask on.
No, absolutely not. He can't. It's his safety blanket, you know.
Right. Yeah. Precisely. That is what it is. He has to have it to kill. Mm-hmm. He can't do without it.
Which is why I thought it was strange, because he goes and gets the knife first. He's gonna kill, and then he gets the mask second. So that's what jarred in my mind. I was like, oh fuck, he didn't even have his mask yet. But another thing that stood out in this scene is, okay, so after Michael gets in the house, his sister's upstairs getting boned and
getting a fucking quickie.
That's what I was gonna say. This fucking guy. Okay, we've all been there, you know. We've all been a 2-pump chump and whatever. But
yeah, whatever.
This guy leaves immediately. It's like,
what a dick.
Like, okay, had a great time. See, like, they were up there for 30 seconds. I mean, half of that time had to have been getting their clothes off, you know. Like, it's crazy to me how quick that was.
Quickest sex in the fucking history of cinema.
Yeah. But then, here's the other thing, is that he's leaving, and you see all this from Michael's point of view. Why doesn't he kill him?
I hear you. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, he doesn't attack. He's only wants to kill his sister. What's his motivation here? I think it comes down to, I think it's sex. I think, I hate to necessarily call back Friday 13th and say, oh, it's all about having premarital sex and doing drugs and stuff like that. But this is, I think it's definitely connected to that, because throughout this film, you have Laurie Strode, who's kind of the prude type, where her friends are, having sex and stuff like that. And you have Michael, who wants to penetrate people with a knife. He's clearly like underdeveloped, has mental problems and stuff like that. And he's still probably too young, to have the sexual urges come out. But that's kind of what I attribute this as he has some kind of urge, doesn't know how to, get rid of that urge, and so what he does is start killing. I don't know. Have you ever read into that? Maybe I'm way off.
I watched the commentary a few times.
Oh, okay.
And they're pretty defensive about it. Both of them, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill, both are defensive about it, because apparently there must have been a slew of fucking criticism about the whole thing, and the virgin lives, and the girls that have sex die. And they both stated on the commentary that clearly that's not what their intentions were.
Oh, okay.
What they're saying is that Laurie noticed all this shit because she wasn't preoccupied with boys.
Oh, okay.
That's why she's the one that sees the shape and everything else. She's not, her mind isn't boggled by fucking, getting laid and everything else, and that other teen drama shit. She's different. Doesn't necessarily have to be sex that causes it. She just, she's more vulnerable because, her mind isn't occupied by all the things that theirs are. That's what they said. I mean, and I understand why they would say that, and maybe that's the truth, or it just could be, it kind of makes it even creepier from a certain point of view that he's just purely evil, like the way the way Loomis speaks of him later, and there is no rhyme or reason to it. Whatever. I mean, maybe he just wasn't thinking about the boyfriend. He didn't give a fuck. He wasn't. I don't know. It goes to that discussion that we've been having for years since remakes came out. They started explaining away everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That it's just better that they're evil and they're fucked up, and that's just it. That's the end of it. And everyone's trying to guess why and who and all that other shit.
Yeah, hell, even with the sequel to this movie, they're trying to explain shit.
Well, and that was the problem, and that's because Carpenter didn't know what the fuck else to do.
Yeah.
Because he had to write it. He was stuck. He had his back against the wall, and he had to come up with something, and he did the best he could, But that was it. It was, he was happy with what it was, and then he had to do part two. Didn't want to, did it. That's what he came up with.
Okay, so this is his first kill. He kills his sister. He has on this, clown outfit with a little clown mask. If this movie were made today, like not Halloween, just this style of movie, don't you think when he returned to Haddonfield that he maybe would have an affinity to that mask and be, like a clown killer or something like that? I agreed. I mean, I don't think that would have worked. It would have been a totally different type of movie, but I don't know. It's just something I thought of, that the consistency would be more there today. They would try to hone in on that. Yeah,
it would just be too hard to do because of the costume. He's not putting a little fucking piece of shit Lone Ranger style of fucking clown mask on.
I guess you're right. Yeah.
I mean, if he escapes on asylum, where's he gonna get a clown suit?
Well, he always seems to find a mechanic's jumpsuit. I mean, shit.
That's true. I mean, yeah, he could just go into the local Rite Aid and fucking buy a clown suit or Party City if he really wanted to. Give me fucking Sparky the Clown.
He does always kill during Halloween time, so he's got the stores available to buy whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's why he can always get the mask. See, perfect. You know, he's fucking dude's all squared away. You know.
Yeah. There's one other thing that struck me, and in this opening scene, as he's killing his sister, you know,
I know what you're gonna say.
He's stabbing his sister, and then he looks up at his hand, and for like maybe 5 seconds, just focuses clearly on the hand. Now, I understand from a filmmaker's point of view why you did this, so you can see the whole scope of the entire room and where he's actually coming from. But from a character's standpoint, why would you do that? Would it be like a shock factor, like he's killing her, and he just happens to look at his hand and just think to himself, "Holy shit, I'm actually doing this"?
I hear you. And the funny thing is, once again, because of the commentary, John Carpenter says it's just that way too. He goes, but he says it almost the way you said it. The way he explained it, he goes like, "Well, I can't really give a reason why we did that. It was just for the shot." You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
mean, I don't know why someone would do that. So in essence, he's actually, you know, talking a little shit about his own film, but basically saying, "Well, it's a movie. We did what we had to do to show it." But you know, I guess you can think of it from another perspective and say, this motherfucker is just obsessed with seeing the knife go up and down because he's a simpleton and he thinks it's cool.
Okay, you called him a simpleton. I mean, is he? I mean, what do we know about this kid?
In ways he is, obviously. You see what he does later and the kills later when he looks at people, and he does the fucking tilting of the head like a dog after he kills Bob and that whole thing. And I mean, he picked up driving just probably by watching, right? You know?
Well, he was your patient, Doctor, and precautions weren't strong enough. You should have told somebody. I told everybody! Nobody listened. There's nothing else I can do. You can get back in there and get back on that telephone, tell him exactly who walked out of here last night, and tell him exactly where he's going. Probably going. I'm wasting my time. Sam Haddonfield is 150 miles away from here. Now, for God's sakes, he can't drive a car. He was doing very well last night. Maybe someone around here gave him lessons.
Somebody around here must have shown him how. You know?
He was doing very well last night. Let's just break now and do an hour of Loomis impressions. I shot him 6 times.
You don't know what death is.
All right, so stay tuned for BananaLaser's Loomis impression hour.
Oh, as many times as we've seen this fucking thing.
Yeah, and he's so quotable. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so, you know, iconic opener. I mean, there's nothing better. Anything that culls something from a classic like Psycho the way it does, but makes it into something new and fresh and still original is great. I mean, just great. I love it. You know, obviously his parents come home and they're stunned, and he's just staying there days, and so it...
Michael?
Another thing I find amusing is that when they find him, they take his mask off, and you see his face. Okay, you're like, holy shit, it's a kid. What the fuck? And you know, it's a big shock. But then Carpenter uses the crane and he pans out. Nobody moves.
Right.
It's like, it feels like an hour. You know, the camera's backing up. The parents still don't move. Everybody's just so shocked. It's like nothing's happening. I always find that amusing when I watch it. It looks great, you know, but it just seems like in reality somebody would say more words or something.
Michael?
I guess it's a little bit artsy, you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it is, yeah.
But I fucking love it.
It's great, yeah.
My favorite shot in the film.
Oh,
every
really?
time I see it, I'm just drawn to it. I'm sucked right into it every time. It impresses me every single time I see it. I fucking love it, the way they draw back with it, and the camera, and of course the music. Like, everything in this fucking movie plays it out so perfectly. Mm-hmm. You know? And, oh man, what a shot. It's fucking, I think it's incredible. You know, yeah, it is a little bit silly that they don't move, but, you know, I guess they're going a little bit artsy with it or something. You know,
it's great.
They do move a little bit. They do move a tiny bit, because I've seen enough times to see if they're moving. It's like they're seen in The Shining. There's been times when I watch The Shining and I see Jack walk into the bar, where and all the people are there, and it seems like everybody's sitting still. And I've thought that a few times. Then I walk back and I see, no, there's a little bit of movement. It's just the way they did it. But
No, it's one of those things that you only notice because we've watched this so many times.
Right.
It fucking looks great. It was the right thing to do. You know, I mean, it's a movie. It's supposed to be entertaining and visually stunning, and that was the right thing to do because it's such a shocking moment that you find out it's a child, a very young child, who did that. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't nearly as long as what they did in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh God, yeah. Holy shit.
Right?
I know. I just couldn't. I'm like, okay, somebody move. What's happening? Did the movie seize up? What the fuck happened?
Hey, yo! Still it is, people,
I have the feeling that you're way off on this.
You have the wrong feeling.
Well, you're not doing very much to prove me wrong.
What more do you need?
Well, it's going to take more than fancy talk to keep me up all night crawling around these bushes.
I watched him for 15 years, sitting in a room, staring at a wall, not seeing the wall, looking past the wall, looking at this night, inhumanly patient, waiting for some secret, silent alarm to trigger him off. Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it, or you can help me to stop it.
More fancy talk.
So then we flash forward to present time, I guess, and we're introduced to Dr. Loomis, played brilliantly by Donald Pleasance, and they're going to pick up Michael and take him to court, and already right off the bat, you know, you really get a sense of Dr. Loomis.
He's great in that opening sequence, man.
Oh, man, he's just fucking...
It's comical.
Yeah, like, where I first laughed is that, okay, they pull up and all the patients are outside. It looks like fucking Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
You know?
Totally, yes.
And once Michael drives off in their fucking station wagon, he immediately says, "The evil is gone," and I'm just like, "What the?" That is the moment where it turns for me, where it's like, "What?" You know, I'm just kind of like, he's evil. You know, it's like Loomis has been with Michael for so long now. You know, the 15 years or whatever, and that he can't see him in any other way. He's just pure evil to him.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's almost comical because, you know, it's just like, well, he is a person. I mean, you know, whatever. But again, like you said earlier, I think it harkens to the classic, like Dracula versus Van Helsing and stuff like that. You know, he's the Van Helsing of this movie, clearly.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, he is the greatest. He's the greatest pitch man ever. My God, incredible! A fucking hype man, outstanding. The lines that he says in this movie that are written by Carpenter are just fucking brilliant. And just even on the way up, when he refers to him and she says, "Don't you think we can refer to it as him?" You know, well, if you say so. You know, he's fucking. The way he talks about it is great, but. I mean, right off the bat, you know, Thorazine, he won't be able to stand up. That's the idea.
That's the idea, yeah.
You know? He's completely against him in every way, shape, or form. He just wants the fucking guy completely, you know, unconscious almost. You know?
He just wants him gone. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. He's the only guy that knows because he's his personal doctor. But what I think is funny, when he fucking gets up there and he goes, "Go on, move," he tells her. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That always makes me laugh. All of a sudden he snaps at her, you know? The evil is gone! And, oh, it's great. Those two lines are funny. But the sequence of going up and right off the bat you get a sense of fucking the way he views this Michael Myers cat. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, the only time his name is ever said is in the beginning scene when they say, "Michael?"
Michael?
That's it. You never hear the fucking the name Michael Myers uttered the rest of the film.
Is that right? He never says it, huh?
No, that's why he's the Shape. That's it.
Oh, shit. Okay, I was going to ask that later, but okay. Brilliant. Yeah, lost my train of thought. Where was I going?
The evil is gone!
Yeah, Yeah,
we left off.
So this is what I was going to say. Now, Dr. Loomis, is he good at psychiatry? Because he was with Michael. He says, I believe it's something like 7 years he was, with him, actively trying to help him. And then for the next 8 years, just trying to keep him locked up.
Right.
Okay, so he had 7 years to decide that you're hopeless. There's, and that he was pure evil. Okay, that's the other thing is he alludes that he never spoke or hardly did anything while he was in the hospital for 7 years. Okay, would you determine from that somebody is evil? I mean, seriously, he killed one person. Would you decide after 7 years of somebody not doing anything and not talking that, well, you're fucking evil, that you're, and you must be locked away forever, and you just, that's it. Okay, done. Psychiatry over. Drops the mic. Like what the fuck?
Right? I never thought about that.
Yeah,
right,
it's like, how did he come to that conclusion? He did nothing, or at least they didn't show anything that he did, like kill other people or be maniacal or anything like that. He only says that, he just didn't talk. He barely moved. It was that. He just looked at the wall. He looked past the wall. He looked through the wall. I can't remember if that was in part 2 or this one, but he does. They don't allude to him doing anything. So, I mean, there's people out there who have probably killed one person, maybe even violently. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're pure evil just because they didn't talk for 7 years after that.
I met him 15 years ago. I was told there was nothing left. No reason, no conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, of good or evil, right or wrong. I met this 6-year-old child with this blank, pale, emotionless face and the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
I guess it's all about the look in his eye, the eyes himself, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. The
great,
whole
great
spiel.
line, yeah.
Oh, man, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And just sitting there, like you said, looking through the wall, looking to this night, the whole fucking thing. I mean, there he goes. He just sees this fucking kid with black-ass eyes, fucking not even acknowledging anything, looking through a fucking wall, just staring straight into it. That is a good question.
I don't know. So yeah, I want to see some of other Loomis's patients, because I want to see if he's actually ever helped anyone in his life, or if he just talks to him for a month and says, "Nope, done with you, moving on, lock him away." Crazy.
That's it. Yep. Fuck it. Throw away the key, motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
Wow. Good for you. I fucking see. I'm sheep. I fell in hook, line, and sinker for the greatest pitchman of all time.
Yeah, he's trying to sell that to everybody he meets. Everybody.
Boy. Right? And he does. He sells it to me. How many times have I seen it? And I never even thought to question it. I'm just like, well, this motherfucker's evil. That's all there is to it. He says he's evil. And of course, we know what happens after. I mean, they're evil acts, so why question it?
Yes, you're absolutely right.
He was right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely was right. He definitely is pure evil. Yes, absolutely. So
right?
then we flash forward the next day. We jump to Haddonfield, where most of this action is going to take place. We're introduced to Laurie Strode, and this is where some of that, she's our main protagonist of the movie, and this is where some of the great filming comes in, where it's just dolly shots down the street of her walking, her meeting Tommy, her going to the Myers house and leaving the key. It's just all planned so well. I would call him almost a master or a genius just based off this movie. He's made some movies in later years that I would retract that statement, but
Nobody's perfect. That's
yes, true. But this movie alone, he got right 100% with the shots and everything like that. It just, I wouldn't change a thing. They're just all perfect. The way that he kept Michael in the shadows was so brilliant. The way you just barely see his mask. That one time, whenever Tommy's getting picked on by the bullies, and one of them runs into Michael and he grabs him, and you just barely see the white mask real quick. You know, you see the white mask in the distance, but you never see it up close. He's always in the background, in the shadows. That was so smart, and it works so effectively. And they definitely didn't do that for fucking any of the sequels, I don't think.
A little bit in 2.
Yeah.
And in the TV cut, even more so. But this is, 1 in a million what they did with this movie, and that's just one more thing, and it's the shape stalking.
Leave me alone. He's gonna get you. 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 The boogeyman is coming. Leave me alone. He doesn't believe us. Don't you know what happens on Halloween? Yeah, we get candy. Boogeyman, ooh, the boogeyman, the boogeyman, the boogeyman, the boogeyman, the boogeyman.
Yeah, the image, the imagery of him standing next to the bush, that's fucking so iconic. The imagery of him standing by the hanging clothesline. Oh my God, it's so effective. That blank. It's the blank face that he has, that fucking William Shatner mask that they modified. It works so effectively, and fuck, it might be one of the best masks I've ever seen in a horror movie, I think. Because it's effective in that manner, definitely.
Because it is the blank stare. Mm-hmm. It is fucking a blank face.
Yeah.
And the fact that they colored it white, and definitely. And don't forget the music is such a big part of this. Just the scenes... Every scene you alluded to, with her walking with Tommy and everything else, and everything she was doing when Laurie's walking, and then with the girls and everything. The music is always, it's ever present, and it fucking fits every scene perfectly. If you watch this movie without the music, you can say that about a lot of horror movies, granted, but I mean, it's so impactful for this movie.
Yes.
Probably more than anything else, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, it just seeps into your fucking bones. And, yeah, if that score wasn't there, which, I mean, we'll talk about in later installments, where they remove a lot of the score and stuff like that. It just, yes, it's definitely most effective in this movie. It just sucks you right in. In these opening parts, right after she drops the key off to the Myers house, and she parts from Tommy and she's walking away, and then you get a shot of her walking away, and you see Michael's shoulder, and she starts singing a song, and I never really read too much into it until recent years. But she sings a song. I can't remember how the melody goes right now, but she says, "I wish I had you all alone, just the two of us." That is like just fucking brilliant, because that's what he wants. He wants her all alone, just the two of them.
Yep.
So he can, do whatever, stab her,
right.
penetrate her.
Penetrate, yes.
With his large pulsating knife. Oh boy.
Absolutely. Looking deep in.
That's the other thing too. I was talking about it's his sexual drive that he doesn't know what to do. If he's been, I mean, he's what, 22 or 21 in this. He's a human being, and if he hasn't been masturbating this whole time, that he was locked up, then yeah, I could see why he goes on this fucking killing rampage, because he's got a lot of pent up energy,
That's for damn sure. He's probably never even fucking considered it.
Yeah.
Probably has no sexual fucking desire whatsoever. He's pure fucking evil. How could he?
Oh, brother. Yeah, he definitely is.
Yeah, Loomis, I know. Loomis sold me for life. That's it. What can I say?
Where?
The Myers house.
The Myers house? You're not supposed to go up there.
Yes, I am.
That's the spook house.
Just watch.
Yeah, but how about the part when she does go up to the thing, gets the key, and then walks in? You see Michael, and they play that fucking thing, that little bit of music.
Yeah, it's
fucking
great.
So effective. Just a little tiny thing like that in that scene. It just. I'm not going to cheapen it by saying it's a jump scare, because it's not really a scare, so to speak. But it's it's just very effective. It's a quick little thing, and him there, and then you hear a little breathing. Fucking there you are.
That breathing is like a soundtrack in itself to this movie, and elevates it just ridiculous. Anytime that he's in the background and you just hear that, it happens more so later in the movie, but holy shit, is that effective? I would have never have thought to put that in if I were making this movie, but they did, and every time it happens, it elevates every scene.
Yeah.
Especially the ending. I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, the end, no question.
We cut back to Loomis, and he's trying to follow Michael's path, figure out where he's going, and he just happens to stop at a payphone by train tracks. This is just one of those things I have to question now after watching this a million times. Isn't it really convenient that there's this fucking payphone right there in what seems to be a field? I don't know. I know there's a lot less payphones now, if at all, but were they that prominent that they would just be everywhere, back in the 70s?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Good question. I mean, you have to ask some older people that might know. Let's fucking get somebody on the show.
Only thing you see around is this train track. You don't see any buildings,
right?
Any establishments whatsoever, and there's a payphone. They fucking just brought that fucking payphone in to be filmed at that spot for whatever reason. Who knows?
Well, and the whole thing with the garage. The guy that worked at the garage had gotten whacked, and Michael took his shit, his gear, his clothes, and took off. That whole. Why didn't they just go to like an old garage? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's probably just money. I mean, with budget, they would have to get permits and stuff to film at a place. With this, they probably just brought in a fucking phone booth, waited for the train to go by, and then started filming probably, And hey, to their credit, I mean,
yeah,
that worked, definitely.
Absolutely. And they got lucky with that phone going by. With the phone going by, I said.
That's a fast phone right there. Holy shit. We're introduced to Laurie's friends after school.
Totally.
And one's Linda and one is what's her name? Annie. Yeah, Annie Brackett. Yeah.
Totally.
Now let's talk about this, because I don't know of any other chicks in the movie that we'd want to talk about. Maybe you don't. But which one would be your banana to peel? I would go for Annie, definitely. And it was a tough choice, but let me tell you what made it. When she spills butter all over herself,
right.
and immediately strips down to her underwear. You don't see much, but that shot of her back, man, smoking hot. And she's the best looking in the face, definitely.
She's definitely the best looking in the face.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely has the best fucking, like, if I were, if I could put myself in 1978 and be a guy, she would be the one I would want to bang the most. She just has that sexuality about her, PJ Souls, though. Linda, when she takes off her clothes, see anything you like? She fucking, her tits. She does look really pretty hot in that scene.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so? Really?
No, I don't. It's her whole character kind of turns me off. The way she's kind of ditzy, right. And she says totally like 20 times and
totally
and all that shit. And it just. No,
I hear you
there.
Not
hot to me. Mm-hmm.
Personality-wise is one thing, but I consider it a closer race than you. But what I have in my notes when I wrote them though is that Annie's the banana. So, I'm not going back on that. Of course she is, But the thing is, I saw something. I was watching the documentary about 1 and 2, and I saw Annie the way she looks now, and that made me look at her a little differently.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, I haven't seen her recently. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been a little tainted because she doesn't look nearly like she did then. So I was like, Not that PJ Souls looks much better because we've seen her in Devil's Rejects in that little walk on, and that's nothing to write home about either.
Yep.
But just
and Uncle Sam, don't forget.
Oh, that's right. Another Uncle Sam callback. How the fuck Uncle Sam just keeps popping up on this show? Holy shit.
Yeah, if you guys haven't heard, go back and check out our Uncle Sam show where we really get in depth about 1996 classic Uncle Sam.
But anyway, yeah, Annie, I agree. Peel that banana.
Yeah, absolutely. She's definitely the one to peel.
Totally.
How about when she's bending over in the freaking thing when she gets locked in there?
When she's trapped in the fucking window, yeah.
Yeah, see that sells it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, and how about this? When she's on the phone with Paul?
Uh-huh.
That scene, I think that's all you think about, he tells her. You know what I'm talking about, right? Of course you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
ask.
Do you know who that is on the fucking line? It's fucking John Carpenter himself.
Oh, really? Huh. Cool.
Yeah. Something else I learned. Yeah.
There is trivia I don't know. Huh.
See, I told you. I happened to stumble across some in the last week. Yeah.
That's cool. Huh.
Yeah.
He plays Paul.
Yeah, John Carpenter fucking plays Paul. Yes.
Yeah, so Paul, he got grounded for throwing eggs and soaping up windows. How old is this fucking guy? Don't you do that shit when you're 15 at best, or 14? He's got to be 17, or something like that. Wouldn't you outgrow doing that shit by then? Wouldn't you just want to attack Tang or Poon?
Right?
And no, let's go out and vandalize shit. I don't fucking think so, dude. But they had to write him out somehow. So Annie picks up Lori, and they're driving around. They're smoking a joint, and I always found that fascinating. That Lori clearly is like the prudish type in this movie, yet she's just so casually just getting high, driving around. I don't know if it seems out of character, but it's just something that kind of sticks out to me. I don't know. Have you ever thought about that?
Yeah, it has crossed my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has. But once again, it's the 70s, and that just might have been, what was going on. Mm-hmm. Everybody was smoking grass, because that's what they even called it.
Grass.
We're smoking grass. We're smoking a fucking reefer,
But I just find it strange how, they're going to go babysit, the both of them.
Oh,
and that's what they're doing. It's like, I'm an adult. I'm going to watch after this, this 8-year-old or whatever. I need to get high first. I wouldn't do that. But granted, who am I to judge?
How many 8-year-olds have you been around?
Yeah.
What's that for?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I need to calm down before I fucking go do
That's
this.
That's why she gets so many fucking babysitting gigs. She's the fucking best, and that's her secret. She fucking catches a little buzz. She's mellow as fuck, man. She's out doing her thing. Okay, all right. I'm not gonna yell at you. I'm not gonna spank you. Fucking do your thing. I'm chill.
Now
I'm gonna carve a pumpkin, watch the fucking fire. Make some munchies for you.
Make some popcorn. Let's make more popcorn. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised when she asked that. When Lindsay asked that, she wasn't like, "Yeah, popcorn, man, sounds great. What's more?" No, she's like, "No, we've had enough."
Right? Yeah, well, there you go. She's fucking baked.
What is the boogeyman? I'm scared.
There's nothing to be scared of.
Are you sure? How?
I killed him.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
Well, you know what? Let me go back to the three girls in the conversation in the beginning. With not the beginning, but when they're all introduced together with Lori and Linda and Annie walking and just having their teenager talk and doing their shit and hey jerk speed kills, that whole fucking thing. Something about that situation. I know you said that PJ Souls is annoying and the totally shit and everything else, and I feel you on there, but just something about those three characters and their interaction that I don't know. It's a lot cooler to me than like the shit you see in the Friday movies and even other Halloweens and other slashers for that matter. It's just one more thing about this film. I've always enjoyed just the click of the three of them and the way they communicate and everything else. You know, she is a little annoying, but you see where I'm going. It's just
it seems natural. More so than what movies down the line that this would kind of spawn would do. It doesn't seem forced whatsoever. They actually seem like friends who would hang out. Even though they're different, personalities and types, you could see how they all would fit together in their little circle. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool, and I think maybe because they have more dialogue, because it's only the three of them, than other slashers where there's maybe 6 or 7 characters that are fucking red shirts and what have you, and a survivor.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's more time for communication, or maybe it's just the way they talk. But I don't know. It's really cool, and that's all Deborah Hill shit. All the conversations between the girls was her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, perfect.
She was going back to her own teenage years and writing that, and Carpenter just concentrated a lot on Loomis's lines.
That's fitting. Annie and Lori, they go off to babysit their kids, and they're right across the street from each other. And I thought right there that setup was really cool. You really get a sense of proximity, and even though you're in this like big neighborhood, they're all just still right there and really close to each other. But I have to ask, it's Halloween. Both of them have babysitting gigs on Halloween, a night where shouldn't the parents be taking these fucking kids out to go trick-or-treating? Right? I mean, what are the parents doing? I don't fucking understand. We learned that Lori's parents are out at some party. I guess maybe all of these parents are out at this fucking party.
They're all at the party. It's the fucking Cult of Thorn. Yes.
Holy shit. The Cult of Thorn answers everything, man.
That's the best I got,
The drunk doctor from part 2, he says is he part of the fucking Cult of Thorn too? It's great.
There you go. Yeah.
Jesus.
Right.
That's 3 sets of parents that are off doing something else when generally they should be with their children on this day, because it's a kid's holiday. I mean, let's face it, we're adults and stuff like that, but it starts out when you're young, So.
Of course. Trick-or-treating, the whole 9, of course, yeah. Mm-hmm. You're right, yeah. But then the parent, adults do go to Halloween parties. That is a big thing.
Yeah, but it strikes me as unusual. But if you had parents around, you wouldn't have a movie. It's like Friday the 13th. You gotta get rid of all of the authority figures and stuff like that. So it makes sense for the movie.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So while all this is going on, we cut back to Loomis a couple times. This motherfucker, how long has he waited in the bushes at the fucking Myers house? I mean, you cut back to him a couple times and, yep, he's in the bushes. Cut back again, yep, he's just in the bushes. Like, fuck, dude. Like, that's his fucking plan. Just wait in the fucking bushes. I am not moving.
I never thought about that.
Oh, God, yeah. There. Oh, yeah.
Chicken. Go ahead, Lonnie. Go in.
Hey, Lonnie. Get your ass away from there.
Whenever the 3 bullies come back in the movie that are picking on Tommy from earlier, they come back and one of them's daring the other one to go into the Myers house.
It's fucking great. It's Lonnie Lamb.
Yes. And Loomis is like, hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there. I love that so much. But
so do I.
And Loomis
doesn't sound like him at all.
Loomis loves it even more. The joy on his face that he just scared these 10-year-olds is incredible. It's the only happiness you ever see out of this fucking guy. And
that's true.
I want a still of that, of him just sitting there grinning. He's so happy that he scared these fucking kids off. It's fucking hilarious.
That's fucking great. That is his only smile in the movie.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. Probably his whole Loomis career. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That guy never smiles.
Oh my god, that's awesome. I want to get a fucking t-shirt made of that now.
Yes, exactly,
right?
Dude.
I'm telling you, if I had money, there's so many fucking shirts. I think about scenes and shirts that we could fucking market. You know? Don't tell me so many people that listen to the show would love a shirt like that. Oh, Loomis smiling? Come on.
Man. We're
Who the
making
fuck
it.
sees that? Right? Come on.
Great
It doesn't
shit.
even sound like him. That's the best part. It doesn't even sound like a white guy to me. How about that? I thought that every time I heard that growing up. I don't think that's him at all. I think they fucking dubbed some guy in there, some black dude.
I wouldn't doubt it. You know,
I'm telling you, it doesn't sound like a fucking Donald Pleasance.
There's a lot of ADR in this movie, especially at the end whenever Laurie's getting, chased down and stuff like that. So I wouldn't doubt it for 1 second. Okay, so Loomis is hiding out in the bushes for half the fucking movie. Later, he just turns around and then he sees the station wagon that Michael stole from him. It's literally across the street. He's been there for fucking hours and he's only seeing it now. It's like, what? I mean, he's so focused on the house, I guess, that he never turned around and said, oh yeah, that's my car that he stole. He must be around here somewhere. Did you ever catch on to that?
I did catch on to that, but you just explained it away. But there you go. That's fucking brilliant what you said. He was so focused, he was at one-track minded on that fucking house and that porch and being right there, he didn't take the time to do the obvious thing.
And look around. It's 50 feet from him, the car. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And it gets me. It's one of those things that gets me every time. It's like when it cuts that scene, I know it's going to happen, and then he's just kind of turning around because he's not doing shit. He just turned around real slow, and I'm like, oh, here it comes. He's going to see the car. Look at the car, you moron!
Yeah, but you just made it right. I'm telling you that's a good explanation for that. That his focus just think about how fucking obsessed and maniacal he is himself in the whole situation. Mm-hmm. It's in the realm of possibilities that he wouldn't see it there.
Yeah. Another scene that we kind of left out that I want to talk about with Loomis is near the beginning, and it's at the graveyard.
Yeah, you know, every town has something like this happen. I remember over in Russellville, old Charlie Bowles, about 15 years ago. One night he finished dinner, and he excused himself from the table, and he went out to the garage, and he got himself a hacksaw. And then he went back into the house, and he kissed his wife and his 2 children goodbye, and then he proceeded...
Where are we?
Huh? Oh, it's right over here. Yeah, Myers, Judith Myers. I remember her. Couldn't believe it. Such a young boy.
Mary, you lost?
Why do they do it? Goddamn kids. They'd do anything for Halloween.
Whose grave is it?
Oh, I don't know. 18, 19. Judith Myers.
He came home.
And,
oh yes, I'm glad you brought it up.
And great character, the fucking the groundskeeper or whatever you call those guys. Great character. I fucking love this guy. He's just drunk. He's fucking trying to tell Loomis some story about some other psychopath, but Loomis is clearly not having it. And but I have to ask, what is Loomis doing there? I don't understand his motivation to go to the gravesite.
Holy fuck! Right.
I mean, why does he think, hey, okay, Michael's back in town, I'm gonna go to where his sister was buried? I mean, I guess maybe, I guess he's just pulling at straws here. He has nothing. He doesn't know where he's going to go. So he's like, fuck, I guess I'll just go check the grave out. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Why else would he go there?
Because, think of it. There's no other connection. What does Michael have connected to in Haddonfield? Mm-hmm. That house and his sister. And that's it. So, yeah, may as well shut the grave just in case.
Yeah.
Maybe he desecrated it or fucking... whatever. This could be a sign. Yeah, grasping at straws. It's certainly. Mm-hmm. Now, but I can see it once again. That's in the realm of possibilities. It's not that you made me laugh at first because I never really did think of it that way. But someone that's fucking, like I said, is maniacal about it and obsessed about it as he is at this point. He's really trying to stop this before the shitstorm goes down.
is Michael Myers the only thing in Loomis's life? It certainly is. It certainly is once he escapes.
Of course.
But I have to wonder, before that, is Michael Myers still the only thing that he has? We don't know of any family that he has. We don't know anything else that he does. He clearly has been with this boy for 15 years. That's a huge amount of life. Does he have any other patients? Is there, does he ultimately need Michael to escape so he has something to do? You know what I mean?
For his fucking whole career.
Yes. It's like he actually doesn't want to catch Michael. I'm just guessing here. He doesn't want to catch him. He needs to perpetuate this entire thing for him to have value in his life. Fuck.
He's got a pretty fucking gravy job, I'll tell you that, if he just has one dude all this time, right? Think about that for a job. You go and you're a psychiatrist and you get hooked up in this situation somehow and you go and the dude doesn't speak a word for fucking 15 years. And there you are. That's your job. Go to work every day and fucking... I'll take that. That's a fucking gig right there, man.
And then 7 years, well, he's fucking evil. But lock him away.
That's it. Yeah.
I'll be back every month to make sure he hasn't murdered someone because he's a killer.
That's about it. The fucking guy's obsessed.
I want to see some scenes like from part 6, where he's clearly retired and all that, and he's just typing away. He's doing hobbies. You see him in his house. I want to see that from this era of Loomis, where he's like building model airplanes or fucking, I don't know, he's really into wine or fucking coffee or something. I don't fucking know. I want to see something else that he's into, because I think Michael Myers is it. I think that is his fucking life. That's all he wants to fucking talk about. He wants to convince people that he's fucking evil, and that's it. That's all he has.
Right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's his obsession. That's it, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever wanted to hear the fucking continuation of the Gravedigger?
Yes.
Every time I watch it, I wish I could hear it. Then he proceeded to go here, and then,
Yes, I want to hear the rest of that story. That could be like a spin-off to this or something. It's like, but Dr. Loomis is not having it at all. He's not even paying attention. And he's like, so where are we?
Right. That's true, right? Yep, and we, the viewer, have to suffer. We'll never find out what happens in that great story.
I'm writing John Carpenter. I mean, I'm going to find out the rest of that shit. Yep. Michael takes this fucking tombstone with him, and it's definitely leads to a cool effect later. But, is this guy... I mean, he has... Okay, he clearly hasn't been working out or anything. And maybe... I don't go to graveyards too often, but... Maybe tombstones don't weigh that much, but come on, it's got to be heavy as shit, dude. I mean,
no shit.
How did he get that out of there? How did he get it out of the ground?
Right?
He didn't dig around it. It's just the space of where it was is gone. So he pulled this fucker up with his bare hands.
Why do they do it?
Oh. That brings up another thing I have, is that Loomis can manipulate the police so easily. It's almost ridiculous. He gets the police to chauffeur his ass around anywhere he wants to go, get in any house or whatever that he wants to get in. It's no problem. I mean, it's not until like the end of part 2 where they're starting to get rid of his ass and kick him out of town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the federal fucking government gets involved. That's why. That's great.
Yeah, the Haddonfield cops, they'll fucking they'll do whatever. So.
Hey yo.
It's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Let's talk about something that we haven't really talked about, and that is
murder.
Some of the kills. Yes, absolutely. That's exactly what I was going to get into.
Murder!
Probably, I guess, the first on-screen kill that we really see is is Annie, right? And the strangulation in the car. Now that whole scene and the setup is awesome, dude.
Yeah, man.
It goes to show you that less is more, and that she's walking around. She forgot her keys. You know something's going to happen. Is he going to be there? Nope, he's not there. Okay, well, clearly he's going to be right here. Is he right there? No. Okay. When's it going to happen? You just know something's going to happen. It's just looming the whole time, and it works so great for him to just be in the back of the car, and for him to have fogged it up, and then man. Bam, that's when it happens. And
all fogged up. Yep.
Yeah, it's a great little bit, and that later on, it would just be like a cut and bam, a kill, stuff like that. Nobody takes their time like that scene in this movie.
I've always loved the way she how it's like slow-mo, the way it looks, the way she falls with her fucking head tilted, into the steering wheel and freaking it's creepy. It really is the way it's done. And he's making noises.
Yeah.
He's fucking strangling her. That's fucking badass. And you just see his face through the thing. And then she finally, fucking dies, and the way she falls, it's fucking creepy shit. And then the horn honking, even that's creepy. Just something about it. It's so effective.
When people get murdered in real life, it's never fantastical. Right. It's never outrageous. It's always simple, and that's what that is. It's simple. He wanted to kill her. He strangles her, and that's it. It's not an elaborate thing, and it usually never is. And so, and that's why this movie is terrifying, because you're in suburbia. It's just like, it's just a normal day. It happens to be Halloween, and then all of a sudden, somebody shows up. The boogeyman shows up and just starts killing people. It's supposed to, ground this in reality, and it definitely works. Do we ever see Michael's eyes through the mask in this movie at all? I don't recall ever seeing that.
No.
Does that happen? Okay, because I think that was an effective choice. I don't know if they intentionally did it, but not seeing his eyes just made the blank face just so much more effective. And they, starting in part 2, they go away from that. But I couldn't recall if it was like that here in the first one. I made note of it this time when I watched it for this show, of when is the first best clean shot of his face, and it's after he strangles Linda and puts the phone up to his face.
Right.
And that, and that was the right time to do it. You've teased it enough. Now let's see what he looks like in all its glory. It was the perfect timing for that.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Because that's when the showdown starts. It's him, against Laurie. That's when it starts. Everyone else is out of the way. Let's go. This is who he is, and let's go. And that final chase, oh my God. I don't understand how people say this movie is boring or slow.
Oh, they're fucking nuts.
I do not get it. I am never bored watching this movie. Yes, it's seemingly slow, but it's all makes sense for the characters, and if you didn't have those scenes, it wouldn't be nearly as effective. So it blows me away when people say, "Oh, it's too fucking slow," all this stuff. I don't get that at all. I'm never bored in this whatsoever.
That's it. These are people that have come up on movies from like 1990 and on. That's their problem. It's the MTV generation and the way they edit shit now, and just everything. These movies in general, and it's sad. It's a sad commentary on fucking what movies have become. But watch fucking old Hitchcock movies. You're gonna say they're slow? There's a reason these people are fucking. They say Hitchcock's the master of suspense. You know what I'm saying? Go watch one of those movies. You're gonna say it's slow? How do you not appreciate suspense?
Let's talk about Linda and Bob.
Yeah, there you go. Linda and Bob. Good shit.
So they drive up to meet Annie at the house that she's babysitting at.
Right.
They find that Annie's not there. After walking right in, Annie's not there. And then, they wait around for Annie a little bit. Laurie calls, and, Annie's not there. Thought she'd be back by now, blah, blah, blah. They go upstairs to have sex. This is virtually a stranger's house.
Right.
That they are alone in, and they're just going to be like, well, there's a bed up there. I mean, I guess the fear of getting caught would be a good motivation and a turn on, but it struck me as so strange that it's not even their parents' house. They're not even supposed to be babysitting at this house. They just know a friend was babysitting there, and so it's like, hey, let's go have sex up there.
That's great.
It just blows me away. But I can't say I wouldn't do the same thing if I was probably in that scenario. When you're a kid,
that's what I was gonna say.
You need a place to go. Yeah.
Fuck, to be a teenager again. Of course I would do it. Matter of fact, I would feel more comfortable doing it there than in my house or in fucking that girl's house. Because if I get caught by two strangers, big fucking deal. I'll run out of the place with a fucking hard on in my underwear and get the fuck out. They don't know who I am.
Oh, shit.
I'd rather get caught there, wouldn't you? You don't want to get caught by your folks. Or fucking
that makes sense.
Parents. And you certainly don't want to fuck on your parents' bed. So take that right out of the equation.
Gross. Yeah,
right?
No shit.
But that's part of the fucking lure of that scene. It would be fun. I mean, now I have respect. I couldn't do it, and plus I'd be afraid of legal repercussions of what might happen in my career,
First we go inside, right? Then we'll just talk a little. And then Annie will distract Lindsay. That's when we go upstairs to the first bedroom on the left. You got it?
Okay, first I rip your clothes off.
Don't rip my blouse. It's expensive, idiot.
Then you rip my clothes off. Then we rip Lindsay's clothes off. Yeah, I think I got it.
Totally.
But how about this? Do you realize that Bob says when they're talking all that, they're drinking the beer in the car and they're playing around, they're having their talk, and anyway, he says something. He goes, and then he says, and then we'll rip off Lindsay's clothes or something. He tells
yeah, and she doesn't say shit.
Yeah, what the? I think he fucked up. I think he meant to say Annie. That's what I think.
Oh, see,
it had to be a budget thing. They just said, "Fuck it, no one's gonna notice," or let's not reshoot it. I can't imagine they would do that on purpose. And she didn't even react to it. Who
right.
would react to a line like that?
That's what amazed me is that he just threw that out there and she didn't say anything. She might be into it. I don't know. Fuck.
You probably meant to say Annie.
Yeah.
He's probably going for that, but you fucked up.
Speaking of, what's her name? Lindsay, the little girl.
Lindsay. Yeah.
I looked her up on IMDb, and what she's doing now? She's on like a Real Housewives of fucking wherever kind of show or something like that. Yeah, look her up. Yeah, look her up now, and she, she's not too bad looking either.
Really?
Yeah, she's on.
Lindsay Wallace, huh?
Yeah, she's on one of those fucking shows. That blew me away. Okay, so they have sex.
It's great.
Bob, give me another beer. Blah blah blah. They're fucking around, and
right.
Bob, he lumbers out of there. He's kind of a doof. And this is definitely my favorite kill of the movie. This I don't know how you feel about it, but when Michael surprises him, he's doing the whole back and forth thing in the kitchen. Michael seemingly comes out of nowhere and plugs him to the wall. I don't know logistically how well this would actually work, but for aesthetics, it's great. And he's hanging there, and Michael does the head tilt. And that whole exchange is fucking brilliant. Definitely the best kill of the flick.
Yep. I agreed. Banana split. Boom. There you go.
Banana split right there. Yep.
Straight up. It's great because he fucking picks him up and holds him up. Does he pick him up with one arm or both? I want to say he does it with one fucking arm, one hand.
Shit, if he can lift that fucking tombstone out of the ground and carry it back to the car, then shit, he can definitely pick up fucking Bob.
Exactly. Yeah, fuck Bob. Exactly. So he puts him up there and
that head tilt.
Yeah,
it works great in this part, and it's something that they bring back for the sequels and stuff, and it never ever works like it does here. It just seems out of place sometimes and stuff like that. But here, it's definitely right for the moment.
It's perfect. Yes. Yeah, and it doesn't work anywhere else.
No.
Except it kind of works when Jason does it, but.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Cute, Bob. Real cute. See anything you like? the matter? Can I get your ghost, Bob? All right, come on, where's my beer? Well, can't you answer me? Okay, don't answer me. Are you weird?
So then Michael goes upstairs, to whatever, get to Linda. This iconic image of him standing there with a sheet over his head and the glasses on. Now, I absolutely love this, but I have to ask, would Michael Myers actually do this? I don't think that he would be this kind of playful. There's nothing in this movie that I see that would make him want to kind of taunt the person that he's going to kill at all. I found it strange. I absolutely love it. I think it looks great. It's a great image and stuff like that. But I think it's out of character. What do you think?
No, I agree on both points.
Okay.
I think it's a great scene, and I also agree that there's nothing that suggests in his personality that he would act in that manner.
No. And they made it work. They're really teetering on the edge of being corny or taking it too far, but it works. You know what I mean? It's like he's doing something outlandish. And I know he wears a mask and all that stuff, but for him to put on a sheet, a ghost sheet, over that, it's like, it's a little silly. And then act like Bob by putting the glasses on.
Right.
It's a little far-fetched.
It is far-fetched, but it's a classic scene in horror. I love it.
Classic. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the See Anything You Like, Bob? Oh, get the fuck out of here.
Right,
That's great.
It is great.
And
I've always wanted to do it to somebody. Not kill them, but I've always wanted to walk away and come back with fucking glasses and a sheet on Halloween night and see what the reaction I would get was.
That is the exact kind of shit that my girlfriend likes to do. Awesome. Case in point, I think it's like Paranormal Activity 3, and there's a scare where there's a babysitter. Seemingly one of the kids walks up behind her in a sheet.
Yeah, it's great.
But then it turns out that there's no one there. The sheet collapses or whatever. Okay, so my girlfriend and I watched this movie, and the movie's over. We're sitting there still watching TV. She goes to the restroom, and she doesn't come back for a while. And I happen to look over my shoulder, and there's this sheet with a person under it. And
awesome.
And it's my girlfriend, obviously. But I'm just like, for a split second, I was like, what the hell? And I was just like, aha, you got me, real funny. I turn back around, keep watching TV. And then it becomes a game of, well, who's going to crack first? She's still standing there. I look back, still there. Okay. Yeah, real funny, babe. I got it. Okay. And then she does it for 5 minutes and then slowly walks out of the room and then comes back in later and is like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, that was you. Okay, I know it was you. What are you talking about? It wasn't me. That's the kind of shit my girlfriend does, and that's
great.
What makes her fucking awesome.
Good for you. Yeah, that's great, man. That's fucking great. One time I came home from work early. My wife didn't know I was coming home. I like to surprise. It's just what I like to do. So I got out of work early. I came home. She was in the shower. Of course, the first fucking thing that runs through my mind is I'm going to go fucking grab the big fucking Michael Myers fucking Norman Bates knife, put on a fucking wig and one of her clothes, and fucking pull back the fucking shower and hold up the fucking knife.
Oh my God.
And scare the fucking shit out of her. Not because if she got mad at me, it would be the end of the world, but I decided that what if I scared her to the point that she had hit me, and what if the knife was to slide into one of us and some terrible accident would happen? That's the only reason I didn't do it, And so anyway, later on, she comes out of the shower, and I'm home and whatever, and I say, by the way, I was going to do this and this, explained it to her. Would you have gotten mad? And she goes, oh, no, you should have. That would have been cool. So I kind of feel bad I didn't do it, but who knows what would have happened. But at least my wife was, cool enough that it wouldn't fucking piss her off that much.
Yeah, to where she would have just immediately punched you in the face or something.
Yeah, who knows? You got a big ass knife like that, you know. And who needs their fucking woman mad at him for fucking a day or two or whatever? Exactly. Well, one day I'll get her ass. Whatever.
Now,
Bob and Linda got whacked.
Yep. Strangles the shit out of Linda on the phone.
Oh fuck, that's great too.
Yep. It's and Lori thinks it's Annie's sex moans. Yeah, pretty cool shit. But then, like we said, then the final chase really kicks off. It revs up, it calms down. It revs up, it calms down, and so it's a 20-minute sequence. But there's just so many highs in it, and then it pulls back down to give you another high later. It's great. I fucking love it. And Lori gets in some good hits on Michael. I mean, whenever she stabs him with the needle, I mean that makes me fucking grab my neck almost every time, because that's just like so. I think I've talked about before the slicing of the necks, anything with the neck. For some reason, it's just like it seems more real to me. You know what I mean? So there's a great moment that happens where after Lori goes to whatever house that Annie was babysitting at, sees all the dead bodies and stuff, and the orgy of bodies that just kind of appear.
The fun house, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's the doors just open and bodies just fall out of it unwillingly. But then she runs back to the to her house, and she's been locked out. She throws a potted plant up the window to wake up Tommy, whatever. She's screaming, she's banging on the door. Now, Michael is walking towards her, and he's not running.
No.
But he's also not walking like really slow.
No, not like he was in 2. Right.
No. And that's why I made note of this time. I'm like, well, he's not doing that crawl that fucking Dick Warlock does in part 2.
Exactly.
And it's a walk that makes sense, because of who he is.
It does.
That little moment right there should have been a lot higher, because it ended with her inside, and it should have ended with her being filmed from the outside and shutting the door, and you see the door shut on the outside. Instead, you see the door shut on the inside, and that little moment just isn't as climactic as it should be. It's just a little nitpick that I had.
I never thought about that. Yeah.
If they would have filmed it from the outside, from Michael's kind of point of view, not literally, but it would have been more tense, you know what I mean? It starts filming inside, and then she closes the door. It's just a little nitpick, It
would have been cool to revisit the POV like they did in the beginning of Michael later on in the film. Yeah, that would have been cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, Michael gets in, she attacks him with the pin or the needle. The chase goes upstairs. We see all this iconic stuff of him busting through the fucking closet.
Yeah,
it just looks great. She ends up stabbing him. She talks to the kids, tells them to get the fuck out of here. And that classic moment where he fucking sits up, she's in the foreground. That fucking shit. I mean, that just blew my mind the first time I saw that. And
it fucking still does every time I see it.
Yeah, it works so good. It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. But then the kid's running out triggers Loomis, because he's just been wandering the streets, fucking, skipping down. Like, I hope fucking Michael Myers shows up,
Yeah, hanging out with cops, fucking telling stories,
Yeah, and so he comes in to save the fucking day, and shoots fucking Michael off the balcony. And I shot him 6 times, and
awesome.
And also, I counted this time. I'd never paid attention to that before, but just because we were recording this, I was like, I'm gonna count. Was that 6 shots? Yeah, definitely 6 shots. But shoots the bastard off the fucking balcony. Now, here's something I had a problem with. Lori is distraught. She's sitting there. She's all fucked up from the chase. And she says a line that I still to this day have a question on what she says exactly. And let me know if you feel the same. She says something to the effect of, was it the boogeyman? What's the boogeyman? Do you know what I'm talking about, that line?
Of course I know that line, yeah.
Okay, now what does she say, in your opinion?
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.
It was the boogeyman.
It was. Okay, that's what I settled on because
Me too.
Because of what Loomis says back to her. You
Right.
know, he's like, I believe that it was, or something like that.
As a matter of fact,
but
it
what?
was.
Yes, okay. But what you hear is what's the boogeyman to me, and that never. I wish they would have fucking ADR'd that or something. That's just one of the little things that irks me because it's such an iconic moment, and for it not to come through clear like that, I always found bothersome.
I used to, but now I think it works better this way because it seems more true to life. She's distraught. She's crying.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
She's trying to speak, and it's almost like she says that old fucking thing, "'Twas the night before Christmas." It's almost like she says,
"'Twas the boogeyman."
"'Twas the boogeyman." That should be a shirt too. "'Twas the boogeyman." You know, they're sitting there.
"'Twas the boogeyman."
Yeah, because she's crying. She's, she just about spits it out. She's fucking all distraught, been through hell. She's all a fucking emotional wreck. And she was like, "What's the boogeyman?"
Yeah.
She's like fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to feel like you do, but now just thinking about, the human psyche and what she's been through and everything, it almost seems more believable that she says it that way. But I also used to think that she asked him, "Was it the boogeyman?"
Yes,
Because
that's
the way she spits it out is a little muddled.
Yes, but you just fixed it for me. That makes perfect sense. The way you just
"'Twas the boogeyman."
yeah, that.
But how about this? You know what I found really cool? How he gets shot the first time by Loomis, and the mask comes off.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, we didn't touch on that.
Yeah, the mask comes off. You see him. There's different stories about this because some people say that he looks like he's fucking a little bit deformed in the one eye or something, but
Yeah.
John Carpenter insists that it's your mind playing a trick on you, and he doesn't. Maybe the guy's just a little ugly, and that's just the way he fucking describes it.
It's like a shadow or something.
I don't know.
The way he's
maybe
lit.
Nick Castle has a little fucking eye thing. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't want to fucking, poke fun at him. I don't know.
Now,
but it does look a little off. The point I was going to get was not just that his mask came off, that even after getting blasted in the face like that, he puts the mask back on.
Yes.
Thus, what I said earlier, he can't kill without the mask. It's his fucking, he has to have that back on to feel fucking, I don't know, like evil.
It's his security blanket. Even though he's in danger, instead of fleeing or attacking or anything, the first thing he has to do is put the mask back on. Definitely. I love that moment.
Yes, me too.
And I also like the fact that, I mean, I found it strange that they used a different actor just for that part. I guess it makes sense because they wanted somebody to look kind of not just young, but like innocent. You know what I mean? Because really, he's still that little boy, even though he's physically grown and stuff like that. He's still that boy that you see at the end of the first sequence, and so they wanted to match that kind of look. That's the way I took it.
That's pretty cool, and I didn't know that it was a different actor.
Oh yeah, you didn't? Yeah, the entire film, it's somebody totally different, and on that scene where you see his face, they put somebody else in the mask.
It's just not Nick Castle.
Just that one scene, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, well, I don't know their names, so I can't.
Come up with trivia. There you go. Mm-hmm. You all got some.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, I knew the thing about the eye and how he looked funny, but I also have read a quote saying about Carpenter saying that, so I always just took it as, it was a lighting thing and it's a shadow, but who knows? I mean, it never really comes up again, so I never thought about it.
How about this? How about in the beginning when Michael first escapes and he runs up the car and he fucking runs up and you see his face? Is that the same guy that's shown at the end, or is that Nick Castle? Because when I was watching the commentary, Carpenter said that's Nick Castle.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I know, that is Nick Castle. But
I gotta freeze frame that shit.
Yeah, he knew. he knew that you wouldn't get a clear enough look at him. You know, it'd be so quick. So, you know, whereas at the end, it's more of a prominent, you know, viewing of his face.
Of course, right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's cool. I guess there was a reason for it, like you said. Wanted a certain look on him.
Right. Yeah. Whereas, you know, Nick Castle, you know, brought the physical acting with the body, which we all know is, I mean, I don't know, we all know, but it's difficult, you know. That's why guys like Kane Hodder play Jason 4 times, because they're so good at just acting with their body, you know, and not even their face, you know. So.
Oh, and he was Nick Castle. The whole fucking thing, his stance, the way he moved, everything. Fucking nothing's been done since in that series. It's once again, it's another situation in a movie where every fucking piece of the puzzle comes together perfect. And I've said it before about other movies, and this is certainly one of those. You know?
The one scene stands out to me where he's clearly the best guy to play Michael Myers is the scene closer to the beginning when Tommy is getting picked on by the bullies. And I mentioned this earlier, and one of the bullies comes down and runs into Michael. Michael grabs him, but then Tommy walks away, and Michael follows him along the fence. And just the way he positioned his hand, it's almost like he kind of runs it down the fence, but not really, and then just kind of follows him. His whole movement on that part really sold it to me, whereas in the sequels and stuff, they just get way more robotic, you know, and he really seemed like a person right then following Tommy, you know, down the sidewalk. So, and then, you know, here we are at the end. Loomis Loomis goes out, you know, and you see that fucking, is it this one where you see the fucking outline in the grass, or is that part 2? I can't fucking remember.
I think it's part 2.
Yeah, okay. You see it's almost like a Bugs Bunny kind of scenario.
Right.
But anyways, we'll get there. So he's gone. He's been shot 6 times. He's been stabbed at least twice. He's fallen off of a 2-story house, and still he's able to immediately get up and walk away. I guess that's what makes this fucker evil. But how does he do it? I mean,
he's fucking evil, and that's the thing that's what's great about Loomis and Donald Pleasance's performance there. That the fucking look he gives, he wasn't one bit surprised at it.
Yes, that look is great at the end.
Yeah.
He's just like, yep. He's like, he's not shocked whatsoever that he fucking got up. You know, it's crazy. He's so good on that part. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then you get the breathing, and then you see everywhere that they were in the final chase, and they keep backing up, location, until finally you get to the fucking Myers house, and you just hear his breathing. And holy shit, and then credits. Fuck, dude, that's so awesome. I mean, it gives you, it works on so many levels. It freaks you the fuck out because it makes you think, yeah, this guy is fucking out there in suburbia. You know, I'm in suburbia right now, you know, watching this shit. It fucking works so perfectly. It's great, dude. Just great.
Is this the best ending ever for a horror movie? Because from where I sit, it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. You put me on the spot. I'm trying to think of something. And right now, I definitely can't. I mean, it's so satisfying because, I mean, it just leaves you with the exact feeling that you would have throughout this whole movie, you know? And it's just a stunner. It's a fucking stunner.
It's fucking tremendous. And, you know, I forget about this movie as many times as I've seen it. I don't want to say I forget about it, but I forget the feeling it invokes until I watch it. That feeling I get on that night when I put that movie in and I watch that movie and it ends. And I said it on the Skeleton Crew when I talk about it. One time we were talking about Halloween and something, and I was on there and I said something. I go, when that movie fucking ends, I feel like I fucking had an orgasm. It's fucking, it's the most satisfying fucking thing. That movie ends and I'm just sitting there fucking afterglow, you know?
Just brilliant. Aces all around. I definitely give this movie a fucking 5. It's no question. Fucking peel it back.
Yes, sir.
You know, I mean, that's probably obvious.
Yeah. You gotta say it. Absolutely. It is. Hey, man. It's Halloween. There's only one. I don't give a fuck what Rob Zombie says. You know? There's Halloween. That's it.
Happy Halloween, everybody!